Hey guys, it's your pal Victor here, and we saw Don't Breathe 2, and here's what we think about it right now.
The guy's blind, but he's still dangerous.
Find the girl.
The sequel to the best American horror film in 20 years is here.
What's happening?
Don't Breathe 2.
So yeah, we saw Don't Breathe Part 2, and here are my thoughts on it. I think a lot of movies really want to be John Wick, I mean, some of them are awesome, like, Nobody. And there's a lot of movies that once you get one down the drain with a bad guy you think is compelling, there's that irresistible urge to make the bad guy the good guy in the next movie. And that's what they try to do with Don't Breathe too. They try to make Stephen Lang's Nordstrom like the hero of the movie, and they do it in this like way that's so calculated, trying to be John Wick, that it's like almost laughable, down to the trigger warning, dog violence, and the basic gist of this movie is it's kind of trying to be a soft reboot. Like, you don't need to see the first Don't Breathe to get anything that's going on in this movie. It starts off with like a flashback years ago. There's a fire going on, and the old man comes across the little girl. He takes her in, and he names her Phoenix. And again, this is like, because it's, the whole thing with his daughter dying in the first movie. Yeah, it's a rebirth, and it's a rebirth of him as not a, sperm-basting ladies' man, And I'll tell you guys, he's not even really a good hero during the first part of the movie. He keeps this girl locked up, and he runs drills on her where like the Rottweiler's chasing her and everything, just in case we have to flee one day or whatever. And this cop feels bad for her, so she takes her into town where this weird junkie guy named Raylan, who's played by Brendan Sexton III. You might remember him as the shoplifter from Empire Records. He confronts her in the bathroom, and he kind of tries to befriend her, and she's like, I don't talk to strangers, but he's all following her, and eventually him and his guys go to the old man's house, and they're gonna get her, and we eventually find out why, and the reason. One, it's super the obvious reason is super fucking obvious and stupid. The real reason is so fucking ludicrous and insane, and who the fuck could have thought of this, that it really just makes your mind explode. Like, the plot of this movie is fucking bug nuts. It doesn't make any sense at all. Like, oh my god, yeah. I'm not gonna go into full spoilers, because, dude, this movie's cringy. Because basically at that point, they burn down his house, and, they take away his dog, they take away his kid, and he has to find a way to get to their hideout as a blind guy. It's almost like Batman. You take away all his toys, but of course he MacGyvers a way to get there, and it's so, like, there's a fight scene. You see it in the trailers where his hand is, like, on the water, and he can feel like the motion of the water hitting his hand, and it's so like Daredevil cringy that, oh yeah, all blind people, especially those military training, can be like, it's like that episode of Rick and Morty from a couple weeks ago with Blaze and the Ninja Guy, when one sense is obscured, all the others are heightened. It's cheesy. And then, like, basically the gist of the movie, it eventually becomes like, who's gonna end up with Phoenix, the authoritarian super strength ex-rapist who like terrorizes her on a daily basis and makes her dream of living in a halfway house. That's the ultimate dream of this movie, for this girl to live at a halfway house. I'm like, whoa. Or, you know, to live with the worst people ever, you know. And again, even that as a caveat, I'm not gonna get into, because like I said, I'm not gonna spoil the whole thing. But dude, if you're going to this movie and you have a speck of dark humor in your heart, you're going to enjoy it, because it's cheesy, cringy. The violent scenes are violent, and if you're into that kind of stuff, like VFW or whatever, then you'll probably like it. My whole take is, I think this character is largely irredeemable, and this movie tries to do like a redemptive arc with him, and even that lands flat. And like, you'll know when you get there, it's like, ooh, that scene probably wasn't supposed to draw laughter, but it will. And yeah, there's a post-credit scene, so you can figure out, you know, if there'll be a sequel or not. So I don't know. This is a cheesy movie. The ending is so bad. But yeah, check it out. Don't Breathe 2. It's not as good as the first one. Not that the first one was awesome, but if you want to see like Death Wish with, you know, Turkey Baster, there you go. You know, the people he's fighting are a million times worse than he is, so that kind of gives you an idea what you're going into. So that's my review. Don't Breathe 2. It's cringy, but it's bloody. Yeah, anyway, there you go. Enjoy. If you enjoyed this rant, feel free to subscribe, and I will talk to you all later. Peace out.